Hi there, good evening, happy Tuesday. This is the Tuesday Tune-In. For anybody that hasn't seen one of these before, this is a video that I'm doing every week around this time in the evening, and it's an opportunity for you to tune in. So I will pose some things to think about, share the things that I've learned, maybe something of my experience, and then I'll give you some things to think about, some questions for you to reflect on for yourself. Hi Kirsty and hi Jade. I think really one of the biggest things we can do for our personal growth is to ask questions and to think about those, the things that come up, and maybe there might be opportunity for us to, to dive a little deeper. Actually, my yoga teacher last night was saying, it's funny because I always talk about mini leaps and he was talking about big leaps. He was like, this might be your day. This might be your yoga practice where you have you have like a really big shift. So just go for it and see what happens. And I thought, oh, that's nice. Like maybe every now and then, maybe there is a time where we can make a big shift in one go. Something that we can mark and remember. Anyway, that's a side note. So tonight I'd like to talk about finding your people and why it really matters. And I want to start by, giving some context to what that means. What does your people mean? And this is certainly not about exclusion, getting into a gang or a club of people where you all wear the same clothes and you can exclude other people. That's certainly not what it's about. This is finding people that you can be your true self with. And it is such a beautiful concept. So to dig into this, so I can help you to understand a little bit more. Hi, Shamika. There is a beautiful speaker. Her name is Lisa Nichols, and she talks about true freedom being when you don't have to prove, defend, hide, or protect anything. So I want you to think about these 4 words in the context of your relationships. And this is definitely your friendships, but this is also your family and your partner. So think about the people that you spend the most time with. So think about defend. Do you know people, or do you ever find yourself in situations where you are defending what you say? Like you're quick to kind of jump to, oh, well, no, it's not actually like that. It's like this. Or no, I wasn't doing that thing. Like people that are quick, that are defensive or want to protect something. So whether that's the truth or whether that's, imperfections, maybe you want to protect that. You don't really want people to know about those flaws, or you're hiding them. And I think of really the big one, the prove, when you choose behavior that means you are trying to prove to other people that you are a certain way, that things are a certain way, that, for example, you're in a shiny relationship and you're proving that to other people that, oh, I've got this really good thing going on, I've got this great house, I have, I've kind of got it all down, so I belong in this group. So what I'm getting at is that when we act from these places, we have a tendency to, we do these things in order to appease, in order to impress, in order to please other people, because we want to belong. We want to be in the gang. So sometimes you might find yourself doing things that you don't really actually want to do. Or you might feel bad about not inviting every single person in your class. Like, remember at school, it's a bit different at primary school, but like if you had a birthday party, your 60-year-old birthday party, you have to invite everybody. As you get older, you get to choose who you want to come to your birthday party. And you might have fear around not inviting people to that party, even though you don't enjoy their company or there's no alignment between you. And you feel bad because you worry that they will know, they will start talking about you, that you will be neglected or rejected. And I think that behavior comes from a deep place in us that we want to be loved and we want to belong. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's part of our human nature. But here's the trick. This is why it really matters. Until you can be your truthful self, until you can live your true nature, you will never belong to yourself. And Jesus, that is important. You know, belonging to yourself, or another way of saying that is having full trust with yourself, that you can rely on who you are, is the most beautiful gift that you can give to yourself, because it means you don't rely on a single other person or a single other thing in the world for you to be okay. And the beauty of that trusting relationship with yourself is that, like, the more it goes two ways. The more you make good choices that are in alignment with your integrity and your truth and what you really actually want, not what everybody else is doing, not what everyone's being pulled along the ride for. And, where was I going with that? The more you trust yourself. So the more you lean in and you do things in integrity, the more you trust yourself, the easier that becomes. So it really takes a long time. I'm give you an example of this. I'm not a huge fan of Melbourne Cup. Actually, I hate the Melbourne Cup. And, you know, I know that that's contentious. I have friends that are right into it. And, you know, I'm not working in an office anymore, but I didn't take part in it last year. I can't stand what happens to the horses. And I didn't want to go along with that anymore. But it was definitely uncomfortable for me in previous years to make that decision. Because I wanted to fit in, I wanted to go along with the thing, and even though it was causing me this really kind of yucky feeling internally. So in doing something that was a bit uncomfortable with the gang, I ended up being really comfortable with myself and trusting myself and following through with what I knew to be true for me. So this is why we want to choose the closest people that we have in our lives, the 5 people that we spend the most time with. When you can be yourself with those people, they actually encourage you, they enable you, they hold space for you to be truthful. And again, that goes both ways. So like, you meet these people, let's say you meet people and you feel comfortable with them, you start to share more of yourself, and you're like, actually, I could lean into this even more. I could really find out who I am. And I will share a little bit of my own story. It's still a little bit hard to talk about, but a few years back, I was living in a place for several years where I thought that I was living how I wanted to. And I spent time with people who were lovely people, but I really started to mold myself to be accepted with that group. It became clear that there were certain behaviors, certain beliefs and ideas that weren't favored amongst those people. And because I desperately wanted friendship and I wanted to fit in and I wanted to belong, I wanted to be a part of the gang, I wanted to have people to spend Christmas with, I shaped myself. I definitely was hiding and protecting big parts of myself that I did not feel safe to bring forward. And it was squishing me, actually. So in the end, I really did make a very significant choice to leave that city and to let go of a number of relationships that didn't allow me to be myself. And if I can just flip to the other side and share with you what it's like to have people. I just had a beautiful conversation with my dear friend Karina this afternoon. And for example, she is someone who I don't have to hold anything back from, and there's a group of people that are just like her that I choose to spend time with, whether it's on the phone, whether it's online, whether it's in person, because I can just be myself. There are no filters, and I encourage them, they encourage me. And it has significantly transformed my life. It's paved the way for me to step into who I really am, this is me, you're seeing her right now. And, you know, to have this kind of beautiful, deep, meaningful, true connection. So this can be a little bit scary. You know, people say, well, what if it's my husband, or what if it's my mum, you know, that is one of those people that I don't feel truthful with? Then that's part of it. You know, we make a choice. We get to choose who we spend our time with. So I want to ask you some questions for reflection. Who are the people that you spend the most time with? And you could think about it like if you break up your day or your week into, you know, like time, who, like literally 3 or 4 hours out of the day, who do you spend time with? And how do you feel when you are with those people? That's question 2, part A. How do you feel when you're with them? And then part B is, how do you feel after you have been with them? I can think of an example of someone who, you know, she's okay when she's hanging out with her family, and then afterwards she feels terrible and she starts to go into negative self-talk and doubt and comparison, and suddenly, you know, you're eating cake or you're binging on shopping or Netflix, and it's like, why did you get to that feeling? So get aware, get really clear. The people that you spend the most time with, how do you feel when you're with them? How do you feel when you're after you've been with them? And do you feel like you can be your true self with those people? So go back to those 4 words: prove, defend, hide, protect. Even if you take the chance to think about those words in your conversations this week, I mean, you know, when you're hanging out with people, or when you are, you know, when you're on the phone, when you are catching up with your friends, are you doing any of those things? Are you defending, hiding, protecting, proving? Just notice yourself. We get a choice. We all get a choice who we get to spend our time with. That it does have a big impact on us. And it can be really tough as an adult to try to find new people. I'm very, very lucky in that I have had some beautiful friends since high school who have absolutely held the space for me to grow and become myself. And I have also attracted some gorgeous, gorgeous people into my life in recent years as well. And that has not been the easiest thing in the world. I've had to really put myself out there, but it is absolutely possible. And the blog that I wrote last week, I actually share 7 tips on how you can do that. Should you be ready for new relationships and new friendships, you might not need this. You might be blessed with people in your life that you can really be your true self with, and that is just beautiful. We want to be so grateful for that. But if you are ready to maybe just even dip your toe in, maybe there are other aspects of yourself that you would like to explore, and you can do that with new people or new experiences. Check out the blog. The link is in the text. I think it works when you put the link in the little text below this video, and give it a shot. I hope there's something in there. As always, I am rambling like a mofo, and I love you very much, and I will see you next week. Mwah.